Hello and welcome to Solved or Unsolved, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Brent, and today in this podcast, we're going to talk about what happened to 3-year-old Madeleine Mccann. You may know something about this case. It was very popular. It happened in 2007. I'm going to I did a lot of research on this case, and I'm going to get into some things that maybe you haven't thought about, just basically from my law enforcement perspective. Before we get into the podcast, I'd like to ask you to visit my website at solvedorunsolved.com. There you can also follow me on social media. Would definitely appreciate that. Also, if you want to become a patron of the show and financially support the show, you can do it for as little as $3 a month. And you get rewards. You get your name on the website, things such as that. There are costs involved in producing a podcast. You have all the equipment, you have hosting fees, and you have a lot of time that's put into it. Just really would appreciate if you could support the show financially. So you can do that by going to solvedorunsolved.com, click on the support link, and it'll walk you all through it. As always, any questions whatsoever on that site, go to the contact me and shoot me an email. I will respond. So now let's go ahead and get into this show. I hope you enjoy the podcast. The disappearance of little 3-year-old Madeleine Mccann. This happened in May of 2007. The Mccann family had gone on a family vacation, a week vacation to Portugal. And there were 7 other people that went with them on this trip, friends of them. They were all friends, and they all went on this vacation together. They're all there, and it's not really a resort. It's a 2-story homes that you rent from the owner. You directly rent it from the owner, but it has a resort atmosphere to it. There's a lot of these around. There's lots of buildings around. It's not out, out somewhere where people are not around. There's people everywhere. And every night, the adults would want to go and have a meal and adult beverages and have adult time in the evening. And they would go to this restaurant that was literally, what I read, 180 feet from where the children slept. So they could look over from where they're dining, and they can see the building. They can't really see the doors or things, but they're only 180 feet away. So it was around 8:30 every night. They would put the children to bed and go over and dine and have adult time at this resort. The Mccanns, you have the father, Jerry, and you have the mother, Kate. Now, they are both doctors. And so basically every night, 8 to 8:30, all the people put the children to bed. They put them to sleep. And that's not real hard to do. I mean, you have Madeleine, she's almost 4 years old, and she also has twins. I don't know if they're brothers or sisters or whatever, but they're about 2 years old. So the Mccann family have twin 2-year-olds, and they have Madeleine, which is about 3 years old. So they're doing this, and it's not that hard. If you've had children, they're swimming all day, they're out in the sun. About 7:30, 8 o'clock, they're wore out anyway, so it's not real hard to put them to bed. So on this particular day, I think it's the second day into their week vacation, the Mccanns put their children to bed, and they join the other adults in the resort, in the hotel, let me get this right, in the restaurant to have their meal, have adult beverages, and have a good time. So, and there's some people that are going to say, well, wait a minute. No, why do you have to do that? Stay with your kids, talk to each other, do things right there in the room. I'm not judging anyone on that. I've been in situations, I have adult children now, 23 and 20 years old. And, there were times when you go out where you want to have a little adult time, be with other adults. You're getting away also from work and stress or whatever, and you need to unwind a little bit also. So, I'm not making any judgments to that. They're right there. They're being responsible. They're 180 feet away. And actually, the group had a rule that every 20 to 30 minutes, an adult of this group would go and check on all the children to make sure everything was okay. So they're being responsible about this. So on this particular night, they put the kids down 8:30, and they're in their restaurant having a good time. And about 8:55 p.m., one of the adults, Matt, goes over and checks on the children. He checks everything looks fine. He comes back and reports to the other adults, hey, the kids look fine, everybody's asleep, everyone's good. So then at about 9:05 p.m., Jerry Mccann, the dad, goes over and he's going to check. So he checks, everything looks fine, and he's heading back to his friends, and he stops and sees a guy that he knows, a buddy of his. I think his name's Jeremy. So they're standing there talking for a few minutes. Well, another lady, a member of the group, of one of the friends, I don't know her name, she goes over to check on the kids. Well, she said when she's walking toward where the children are, she looks over and she sees Jerry and Jeremy just talking, have a conversation. Didn't think of it. I don't think they actually saw her, but she saw them talking. So, he knows that guy. They're having a conversation. She also stated that she saw what appeared to be a male subject carrying a child, a blonde-headed child, in a blanket, a short distance from where they are. Said she didn't really think anything about it. You know how when your kids fall asleep and they're young like that, you carry them to bed. They enjoy that. You're not waking them up. But she said one thing she thought odd about it was that he appeared to be walking away from the buildings, not walking toward one of the buildings. Now, I wanted to say something about this because eyewitness accounts are not always by any means accurate. I've been to a ton of them, but I went to a certain police training school once, a week-long training, and we're sitting there. There was probably 50 to 60, we were actually detectives at this time, trained law enforcement officers to be aware, everyone at least 5 years or more experience. And we're sitting there in class, and all of a sudden, two guys run in. One's chasing the other. They're running around the room. They grab something. They run out, and they leave. Well, this was an exercise. We were not told this beforehand, but it was an exercise. And after this, you had to give a description of the people and what happened. Now, these are 50, 60 trained professionals, and only 70% got the information correct of what they saw. So if that's the case, I don't always put a whole lot of evidence or a whole lot of clout in what an eyewitness said they saw. People see different things. You can see one thing and someone else sees something different. There's been many cases where eyewitness put a person in prison, and years later DNA proved that it wasn't them. Just saying, I don't put a whole lot of stock in eyewitness testimony. So all the adults are back having a good time, and Kate, the mom, it's her turn. She goes to check on the children. So she walks in the room and looks over and sees the twins, and they appear to be fine. They're sleeping. And she said that she looked over at the bed where Madeleine was sleeping. And she said for some reason she stood there for 15 to 20 seconds to let her eyes adjust. Now, she could have turned on the light to see better, but she said she didn't want to do so because it might wake up the kids. And stood there and finally looked and noticed and said that Madeleine was not there. Okay, she's 3, almost 4. Madeleine could have got up, had to use the restroom, maybe woke up in a strange place and wanted to find her parents. But she searched really quick, looked around, and just panicked, thinking, well, Madeleine's gone. Well, this is everything that I read. Okay, your twins are still in the bed asleep. You noticed your 3-year-old is missing. She ran to the adult group, screaming, "They took her. Madeleine is gone." Now, and I'm not real judgmental on how people act under distress or under situations, because everyone acts different. That's just like when someone passes away, a close friend or a family member. Some people may say, well, they didn't act like that bothered them. Well, everyone reacts to things differently. That's a fact. But here's what she did. If she thought someone took Madeleine, she left the twins in the room. She didn't grab her twins and go to the group. She left the twins laying there. That just brought up a little bit of concern to me. Everyone would act differently, but if I thought someone took my child, I'm grabbing my other two and holding tight. That's just me personally. So, of course, everyone's running around trying to find little Madeleine. The place has gone crazy at this point. We've got a 3-year-old that we can't find. So, of course, the police were called. They get there pretty quick. I think maybe 7 or 8 minutes later, pretty quick. But you got people running in and out. What I read, the police never really properly secured the scene. And yes, this is a crime scene because we have a 3-year-old missing child. And it is a crime scene until we know the whereabouts of that child. And everything I read, it was not handled properly on that way. Because, you're going to have contamination. You're going to have, loss of evidence, things such as that. Well, the one thing they brought in what's called, a sniffer dog. So the dog, and I want to explain something about that. I was talking to someone yesterday about this. A dog, a sniffer dog, they have one job. They smell and they follow that smell. They have no emotions. They have no agenda. They only do one thing, their job. Follow the scent of the smell. And what I read, this dog hit on the bed where Madeleine was sleeping. The dog then hit on the closet in the parents' room. And the dog also then hit on the trunk of the rental car that the McCanns had rented to go on this vacation. Okay, the bed, of course, that's where she was. I can even see the closet. Kids playing in a closet. That's not unusual. The trunk in the car has me a little concerned. And this is going to be a fresh scent. So just don't understand why the dog would hit there. Not making accusations. I'm just stating the facts of what I read. Just a lot of concern to me. So little Madeleine, she's not found. No one has any idea where she went. Here's some things as an investigator I would like information that I couldn't find it. And if you guys can, email me and give me a link to it. Or contact me on social media. It's on Twitter and Facebook, Solved or Unsolved. I would like to know the details of that day. This is 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I would like to know the details of that day. What exactly happened? Who was the last adult to see Madeleine on that day besides the parents? What took place that day? What did Madeleine take medication? How was Madeleine acting that day? Just a lot of things like that. There's a lot of theories on this. One of the theories is someone or a group came and got her and as a kidnapped her as a sex trader or something, human trafficking, something like that. That would be pretty ballsy to do. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. It's not really that dark. There's lots of other buildings around. the 7 adults are only 180 feet away. Not saying it couldn't happen, but that would be a little bit rare. And if that's the case, why take Madeleine? Why was she singled out? Why not one of the other ones? Just a lot of things going through my head on this. There's another theory out there that says that maybe something accidentally happened to Madeleine. Maybe she had some medication and had an allergic reaction. Maybe she was eating and choked on some food and passed away. Maybe she was jumping on the bed, fell off and hit her head or something. And things happen, but then you're asking, well, if that's the case, then why not call the police or call the ambulance and get things going? The thing about that is both parents are doctors. That would look really, really bad. I mean, if you can't take care of your own child, I mean, why are you going to go to them as a physician, or why are you going to take your child? Just some things I read that make some sense. It really does. I did see an interview that Jerry McCann did on television. And I've been to what's called the Reed Interview and Techniques School, advanced school actually of that, which is a study of body language, how a person reacts to questions when there's deception involved. And when I read this interview, the gentleman flat out looked at him and said, "Did you kill your daughter?" Well, Jerry at this point actually reached up, touched his nose, turned his head, never really looked the guy in the eye, and said, well, no. I mean, I had no motive. Why would I kill her? Okay, in that school and all of my training, that is major signs of deception. I'm not making an accusation that anyone killed anyone. I'm just stating in my training that response was deception. Not being slanderous, that's just my opinion of what I personally saw in my training. Let me know what you think about this case. On social media, let me know, or go to the website and shoot me an email. Really like to know what you think, what your thoughts are about what you think happened. You can probably hear the thunder in the background, thunderstorm coming here. Again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a good review, a thumbs up. Tell your family and friends. Think they would enjoy it. I'm getting ready to really pick it up. I'm going to start doing 2 podcasts a week. Again, go to my website, solvedorunsolved.com. If you would, please become a patron of the show. Click on the support link and follow me on social media. Again, thank you so much for listening.